Good morning friends, this is VINEET Pandey. I'm in Kerala, Munnar, and I have a paper. See friends, I must tell you this is very frankly, all of you must have felt it was tough, it was confusive or something like that. I was going through the paper as an expert now before recording this video, and what I felt is that it was actually very easy. Like I compared myself when I was in my best efforts, when I was preparing for my first JRF, when everything was on my tips. It's one of the easiest paper. Well, I told all my students also that whenever there is a change in UGC pattern of examination system, they always give an easy paper. This is one of the easiest paper, and now why I'm talking about these things. We're going to talk about the questions one by one. I'll be giving a review. Friends, all the students of online, offline, those who are watching it, all the new students who are watching it, they all know me. I'm VINEET Pandey. I'm 6-time NET qualified, double JRF, 15 set. When I attempted this NET exam, I told my students that I'm not prepared at all. Maybe because I was always busy in those centers, taking classes, working for students, I couldn't revise. But when I attempted, even I marked 69 questions, which are totally correct out of 100. So if from my point of view, when I was expecting a tough paper, I got the easiest one. Now, if you can see the question 1 from Victorian A's, question 2 from Victorian A's, then we have a modern writer and Harold Pinter, actually the absurd writer, talking about the screenplays and all. Then we have Commonwealth writer, Commonwealth A's. Then we have R.K. Narayan, we have William Blake, and we have Old Dialect. In short, first page 1 to 7 questions, they are totally from British history, which is one question of Indian literature, R.K. Narayan's. That's very easy. Question number 8, then question number 9, setting them in order. As I told all my online and offline students that you must set these things in order. I would ask them when was Total's bestseller got published and all. Then question number 10, talking about Horace Ars Poetica, when we committed things in detail. You must have found these questions very easy. Question number 11 was a bit kind of different, not easy but not tough also, because we do not teach these things in depth, and even I didn't expect that they will ask a question of Oliver Goldsmith like this. But yes, again it's a part of British history, and yes, a bit tricky. Question number 12 is easy. I keep telling my people, don't forget Hudibras, don't forget Don Quixote. This is very, very easy. Then Latin stretchy, eminent Victorians. It's the repeated question of June 2013. I would ask my students in the classroom, tell me the names. So this is one of the easiest question. Question number 14, Saint Cecilia's Day. Guys, I teach Saint Cecilia Day in my offline classes because in online it's not easy to complete things. I talk about the detailed content. So that was very easy again. Question number 15. 15 is typically different, though it's related to modern age, talking about modern poetry. We do not talk about Michael Robert. I accept this in the video that yes, I have never taught. But yes, as a person, as a teacher, as a learner, I know the writer, I knew the answer. Why so? Because I thought it may be very tough, they won't ask it. They did it. But yes, it is from the modern language, modern history. If you see the pattern of UGC NET, they have been asking modern words, modern dictionaries, modern editions, modern bibliographies. This is one of the questions related to them. Question number 16. I taught my online and offline students about hyperreality, simulacra, simulation. You must be knowing that Baudrillard is the first person dealing with hyperreality. There was a direct answer using the word hyperreal, and the direct answer was Baudrillard. Sir Thomas Browne, urn burial. I told my students that don't forget hydrographia. Urn burial is very, very important. Then Thomas Browne's Religio Medici is very, very important. And you have to talk about vulgar errors. That's also very, very important. It's an easy question. Question number 18. We have Catch 22, Age of Innocence, The Naked of the Dead. Just option A, modern instance. I never taught my students, but then I taught Catch 22, Age of Innocence, and The Naked and the Dead. So we have a direct answer. At least you know that Catch 22 and Naked and the Dead has a war theme. So it was very easy for me. Question number 19. We have completed movement poetry in detail. Everybody knows that Donald Davy, Philip Larkin, or other writers were the part of it. One more time, I'll say the same. Very easy. Which of the followings? I told my friends, I told my students, I asked them to revise it, and when I was marking the most important thing, I generally do in my offline classes, when just 1 month is left, I call them with the notes and I just give them the last best guesses. I told them that they won't ask any question in detail, but yes, the Blood in the Sun trilogy they can ask, and this was the question. But yes, I must admit, I answered it wrongly because I could not revise it. I got confused between secrets and knots. So my answer was wrong, but it is easy. Question number 21. We have completed all the line, all the things in detail except just one, sunset at Puri. So that was the only thing which confused me also. But technically when you have 3 answers which are clear, you can find out the 4th one. That's very easy. Question number 22. Lang and Perol. Saussures, Lang and Perol is one of the basic themes of literary theories, talking about structuralism and all. I believe 90% students must have corrected it. John Haywood, 4 Ps. I tell the funny story in my class, I write the details. I also tell them that what was the competition and who won the battle. One of the easiest one. Question number mechanical drill. I talked about mechanical drill, repetition drill. These are the drills of teaching English, though I could not complete this in online because it's something depth. But I completed this in offline batch, and again the easy thing. Question number 25 is actually the comprehension based, like you have to understand. So I don't want to take any credit of this. It's totally a general question, though it was easy because we have always have a system of going for comprehension of poetry and paper part, but that is simply tough in online sometimes. But yes, I won't take any credit. Question number 26. I kept on telling everybody, do not forget the Saturday night, Sunday morning and Top Girls. Keep revising. And here we have just one character. At least if you match one character, Arthur Seaton, you'll find the right answer. We have covered the Golden Notebook. Just one work I didn't complete was the swimming pool library. I accept my fault. Welcome, O Life. I go to this. I told all my students that Portrait of the Artist is one of the classics, most important, don't forget it. And here we have the results. Well, I understand you cannot complete all the lines, but these quotes, these lines are actually autobiographical, talking about the leading protagonist. Francis Bacon, New Atlantis. I told all people that everybody talks about dystopia. It's just Francis Bacon who talks about utopia, New Atlantis. It's very important. I told everybody to read complete in 1627, and that's very, very important thing. 1950s, again the same thing, movement poetries. We know that when you cover movement poetry, you must know movement anthologies. And here we have the right answer, the new words and the new poems. Question number 30. If you watch my videos of teaching in Hyderabad and Jammu, you'll find out I kept on completing intentional fallacy, affective fallacy, and you will get the direct answer here. A.R. Amon's parodies. Yes, I didn't complete this writer. I must admit, I even didn't know this writer. So don't worry about these things. Just my cab has arrived, so I think I won't be able to sum up things, though still. Fanny Burney's Evelina, one of the most important things. We basically complete this in the class, and moreover, repeated question of net, easy paper. Philip Sidney. Watch my teaching video in Jammu. When I was teaching Philip Sidney, you can find out certain words written. This is very, very important. Misomacy is very, very important thing. Again, easy thing. Where shall I turn and divide in the vein? Ask my students. I answered them. Far Cry from Africa is one of the most important. Do not forget the quotes. And here we have the quotes. 1940, intentional fallacy, affective fallacy. I am sure people must have answered one of the easiest one. I have completed that. Philip Larkin's Sad Steps. I didn't complete. I accept that because again it's a very unique and very in-depth thing. Then we have matched the following lines here. It becomes tough sometimes, but what if you just remember, at least from my point of view, that Leda and the Swan is very, very important. Leda and the Swan itself has a sensuous imagery, and having just one line can help you to qualify the night exam. I believe, I accept, I didn't teach 13 Blackbirds, The Darkling Thrush and Sympathy. We are not gods, though I tried my best. But yes, I completed Leda and Swan, and that's very important. The opening lines are there. You can find out the sudden blow, the great wings, and the answer is in your hands. Again, easy from my point of view, if I attempted. 38. Question number 38. Wow. The books published in 1920. Even everybody knows that. You all know that. All the books written like Look Stranger, and The Road to Wigan Pie. They're all 30s and 70s books dealing with the political turmoil. We are talking about the books of 20s. You have Wasteland and The Tower. Both are important. Both are in 20s. And simply basic modern British history. That's simple. This novel is dedicated to the Railroad of Bones. Yes, I didn't teach it. Even I didn't know it. So next session when I will teach my new student, as I tell you that VINEET Pandey learns from all the SET, NET, MPhil, PhD exam. I solve them, all the tough questions which are unknown to me. I just make them my target. I complete them. You will be completing all those things in my new batch. An English poet couldn't help. Wow. Bliss was it then that to be alive, to be young was very heaven. It's very simple. I told my students in the part of historical criticism that there are some meanings. They always have a meaning in relation of history. So teaching Wordsworth, I talked about this thing. Teaching historical criticism, I talked about this thing. Question number 41. Ghost, the Sea and all. Friends, John Benville is a Booker awardee, and I taught the sea. I didn't teach the ghost, so I take the responsibility. identified two things. John Arden was actually a political extremist, was very much involved in those things. So if you have completed John Arden, because my students completed Live Like Pigs and all, they can simply answer the left-handed liberty and the hero rises. I made them write this. This is very easy. Semiotics. 90% people think about Saussure, but what if they ask about Saussure and someone else? It's just me who taught this sign theory by C.S. Peirce in my class. If you were my student, you will simply remember that in sign theory I talked about the sign, symbol and index. That C.S. Peirce and Ferdinand Saussure, the easy answer. Robert Burton, Anatomy of Melancholy. I kept on telling people Isaac Walton, Complete Angler, Robert Burton, Anatomy of Melancholy, Thomas Brown, Religio Medici, Urn Burial. Don't forget these things. It's easy. The modern magazines talking about the Blast, the modern magazine Blast, very easy. Like talking about anaphora. Anaphora is the repetition of the word in the same line. 10. Red Cross Night and the book 1, Gloriana, it's very simple. John Ruskin, I told my people he was very much fascinated with Venice. And talking about Pale View of Hills. We taught Kozo Ishiguro, we were prepared with Remains of the Day. Yes, I did in complete Pale View of Hills. And that's net exam. That's the glory of net exam. Yes, it has a standard. It is far better. I'll just ask my person to wait. Give me. Which novel opens thus? See, David Copperfield. Where shall I turn out to be hero of my own life? David Copperfield, I told my student, do not miss this exam. Do not go for exam without preparing David Copperfield. I told them that even Dickens once said, a writer once said that the pen which wrote David Copperfield was often dipped in his own blood. I think the finger of is covering the camera. Please think. Traces the morality plays Dr. Foster. Guys, Dr. Foster's we have covered in detail talking about moralities and all. That was the easy question. Then philosophy, we cover empirical science, we cover epistemological. It's very easy. If you say it was tough, then you also remember I completed Michel Foucault's epistemological approach. It was very easy. How do you know what you know? The 18th century, how you get the books. It's very easy. Even if you just use your brain. If you don't know the content, use your brain. Contribution is you just give the money. Pre-publication, you have given advance money. Remindering is you helping them to do this. But subscription is you give advance money and you also pay money accordingly. Then you have simple Oxford, India, Premchand. Yes, my fault. Even I didn't think about this thing. That's why I salute UGC. UGC had standard. Then 55. Yes, I told all my students that do not forget the 5 books by Jane Austen, and they are in the sequel like Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. After that we have Mansfield Park, Emma, and then Northanger And here we have the direct answer. This lady simply started talking about the Bath because Bath was a city of fashion. Here you have the direct answer. Communicative approach of English language teaching, and the concept is just basic thing. What are the shifts? I don't understand why they made that this much easy paper. Moral essays, amazing. I remember like Pope once commented Martha Blount saying that most of the women have no character at all. Martha Blount, Lord Cobham, Bathurst and Burlington. Again easy, but I won't say very easy. Yes, it was tough. Bertolt Brecht's Mother Courage. If you watch the videos uploaded by my students, one of the ladies, she taught you. I asked her to teach you Bertolt Brecht. I asked her. You could have got the answer. I told all my students, don't forget the name of the lady. It was like general question. If you remember that VINEET Pandey has a particular style of teaching which is called warm-up. Warm-up session where I keep asking the questions again and again. This was the direct answer. TESOL, the basic concept, TESOL quarterly, very basic. I think they thought that paper, students were like their kids and the paper is very easy. Set them in order. As written Country Churchyard, Adonis, Thyresis, not even a single tough book. It's easy. Milton's contemporaries and who has been mentioned. Remember, Milton talks about planetary systems, Milton talks about the planets, and he gives credit to Galileo Galilei. Which was though it was tough, I won't say it was easy. Case Menium, yes, I didn't know the writer. That's how I learn. That's, when you accept your faults, when you accept your good things, and you always get ready to work hard. Thomas Percy, Relics, very easy. Almost canonical books have been asked, known books. Nirasi Chaudhary, Autobiography of an Indian, very known book. Confessio Mentis, very known book. Eugene Ionesco, I told my people, don't forget Balcony and Chairs. Chairs is very important. For Charles Pilgrimage, oh my God. Sordello, Browning, Sordello, Strafford, Paracelsus, we covered in the class. Tristram Shandy, I told my people that Tristram Shandy is more important than other books like Tom Jones and all. Evelyn Waugh, we completed them. Handful of Dust, Wasteland. Yes, then 1830 to 1850, a lot of people have answered general strike of 1835 and rail tragedy. Both things were American. Gulliver, remember, hope my students are watching it. I told you that when Gulliver tells the king of Brobdingnag about the European way of living life, use of cannons and death punishment, king abuses him, and that was the live question. Inferno, Dante. I recorded a video on Dante in Ladakh for you guys. In theory, Azaz Ahmed, even I answered it wrongly because of no revision. I knew that it is classes, nation and literature. But then I just confused and I got like no classes. But it's easy. We have covered in theory. 1660 Royal Society. I told my student Francis Bacon his ideas were important. Royal Society was formed in 1662. And the very, very important thing that they conferred the honor of poet laureateship to John Dryden. It's easy. Whom did W.B. Yeats said we were the last romantics? Because they were the Irish revival people, the people those who were reviving it. We have covered Celtic revival, Celtic twilight, and that's how you know the answer, the direct answer. The Wandering Jew, a work by P.B. Shelley, even I answered it wrongly because no revision was there, but it was easy. Yes, T.S. Eliot's this concept is a bit tough because you need to go through all the lines that you can't do technically. Question number 80, Canterbury Tales, very easy. Norman Kings, the language used by them, I told all my students the fashionable language was French. If you remember the nun prioress, she would speak French in nasal voice for the sake of fashion. Upanishads, W.B. Yeats and Swami Purohit, I made my students write this. Swami Purohit and Upanishads, even this was the reason I could answer. Ben Jonson, 2 pencils, I didn't teach, my fault. Next time I'll teach. I completed Rosencrantz, Guildenstern are Dead, Indian Ink, and these 2 books can help you to get the right answer. Then we have Oedipus. We have covered Oedipus in detail. Everybody knows he asked for exile and he punished himself, self-blinded. So that was kind of his own punishment. Women in Love. I told my people, don't forget Sons and Lovers, Women in Love, Rainbow, and Lady Chatterjee Lover. That's very easy when the sisters are talking. Samuel Johnson's quote is tough. I'll accept it's tough. It's not that easy. Then take the smoking disclaimer. It's not related to literature at all. It's all about your perception, how art should be taken for the sense of aesthetics. The messages should not be drawn. It's art for art's sake. The direct answer. Then we have speech act theory. I told my people, I told my students that J.L. Austin's speech act theory. I also compared it to Indian myths of Sphota theory. Again, easy. Haunted castles, strange noises, gothic fiction, very easy thing. Then the question number 91 is very tough. It's not easy to relate the lines. And then 92, Love's Labour Lost and all. I made my people write Shakespeare's work in detail. The pre-romantic work, the minor works, the sincere romantic works, the tragedies and the last work. 4 parts. And then everybody can answer this question. 93, it's very easy. I told my all students, Archetype Metz, Maud Bodkin, because rest of the writers are related to reader response. That's very easy. You can watch my video. Leo Tolstoy, Anna Karenina. I told everybody, don't forget the opening lines, don't forget the last lines. This is related to last lines. 95, J.G. Farrell is important. Moonstone by Wilkie Collins, both are important. We have covered both books. We just could not cover option 3 and option 4. But at least if you remember my book 1 and book 2, you can answer this. In Garuntian, T.S. Eliot says, that's my fault. I just made you write the name saying they don't ask it. After many years, they have asked it. And the passage, it just needs contribution. Before I just sum up, I tell you this thing, friends. Remember, I started from a small town. I had a lot of problems of language, of spellings, of meanings, understanding things in detail. How I started qualifying, what makes me qualify NET again and again. And I don't know, maybe even this attempt, I am at borderline. I may qualify. I completed things in detail. I didn't leave a single book. When I started teaching, my passion was that there are a lot of VINEET Pandeys, they need a teacher. I started teaching everybody. God's grace, luckily we have 5 centers now. I've trained all my teachers. I asked them not to forget even a single book like Wandering Jew or anything. I believe in completing each and everything, then a revision, then a workshop, and then I believe that my student can qualify. Remember, my target is the weakest student of my class, not the smartest one. I do get gold medalists, I do get Delhi University toppers, Jamia toppers, JNU PhD scholars, but I believe that my knowledge would come out, if my knowledge would linger, if I make a person who is very weak qualify, a person who has lost his hopes, no answers at all, somebody who knows that I cannot do it. I've seen people, those who have stopped applying for it. Why? It's just an exam. You know, even like this was a kind of, if as a person, not as a teacher, If I just talk about this paper, it was a shit. No standard at all. If I just compare the VINEET PANDEY of first GRF and second GRF, the brain level, it was a 15 to 20 minutes time for me. I would have answered each and everything. It's easy. If you want to qualify, if you think like that, you need somebody to push you, if you need someone to tell you each and everything, to tell you what is important, what is not, I'll suggest you can join us. You can contact me on 8587035827. And one more thing, friends, a lot of people say that why you're showing these backgrounds. I want to tell you this. I was struggling for food, I was struggling something to eat, I was struggling for a t-shirt. I would go to those 100 rupees t-shirt to wear. It's my hard work, the midnight oil that I burned, and my dedication when I was simply in this box telling everybody that one day I'll do something. That's why I'm living my life, I'm living my dreams. It's not lavishness. It's the proof that somebody can work hard, can break barriers, and come from a small town to live his dreams. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.